few little reminders. I never really know what I'm going to say when I click play, to be honest, but just sort of going over some general themes and ideas of programming and what you should be concentrating on and what your goals are. So when you go in the gym, ideally you know what you're going to do before you turn up to the gym. I find the people that know what they're doing before they turn up to the gym care the most. So that's not necessarily a good thing, a bad thing, or whatever. You can take that how you want. But the people that know what they're doing before they turn up to the gym, they've had a good thorough look at their program, the people that are excited about next Thursday's high bar 3 at 9, those people tend to do better on the whole. Because people that care more do what it takes. And again, it's not saying anything, and I really understand if it is not your life. It's a silly thing. I don't really like football. Actually, I hate football. But, you know, everyone has different things. But if you're committing to be the best you can be, you should probably know what you're going in for. When people ask me the day of their workout, I'm meant to be doing it at 9 today. Say if someone doesn't have a maximal approach, and they do on the whole quite low RPEs, and they say, is this really right? RPE 9? I think, well, you've not really been paying attention. So it's, you know, if you have a little quick look through your program, the people that seem to care the most, the people that know exactly what they're sort of going into. But an important thing to remember is that programs can change, and that your blocks can change based off how you're responding. So the first thing when you go in the gym, if you don't know what you're doing already, you should obviously probably get up Google Sheets on your phone and check out the workout for the day. So the workout for the day, you have a look at that, and you firstly fill out your subjective questions. You know, how are you feeling in the day? There's, I think, 6 or so subjective questions, that will create your recovery marker for that day, which appears on your left-hand side. So do that first. Then you have a look at the protocol, and by protocol is the plan. So protocol is the plan for the day. So for example, you have 1 5 at a 6, 1 5 at a 7, 1 5 at an 8, 1 5 at a 9. And it will have your estimated weights, and the estimated will give you a guide. The estimated numbers are not the be-all and end-all. They are just estimates, and sometimes they can be wildly off. So your focus is to really hit the reps and the sets at the given RPE. And the most important thing is loading the right weight on the bar and lifting it the right number of times. And the RPE is purely to regulate the training. So let's say you do the estimated weight for your squat is 100 kilos, and for your first set. You do that, and it feels so easy. The next set is estimated for 102.5, 105, but you're feeling so good. What's the point? And you do 107.5, let's say. So you go heavier than the estimate, and it moves really well. And you mark that down in your actual column of what you did. And then you do your next set, and it's suggested 107.5. You think, right, I'm having a good day today, and you do 110. And you do 110, and the RPE guide was saying 8, and you did it at say 7.5. You felt that there was more than 2 reps in the tank, so you put down in the actual column 110, and the actual RPE column you put down to 7.5. And now at the top there'll be a generated estimated max from that set. And the estimated maxes calculate every set you do, there's a estimated max. And what the estimate at the top is the best estimated set. The most accurate estimated rep maxes are found on the dashboard, and the close one, and they're pretty close, sometimes they're bang on, sometimes it's the same, but they use different formulas, are on your sheet. The dashboard is the most accurate one because they use different formulas. Because on the dashboard you've got a squat section, a bench section, and a deadlift section. And the squat uses the squat RPE chart, the bench uses the bench RPE chart, and the deadlift uses the deadlift RPE chart. And the custom RPE charts are created at the start when you put in your rep maxes. Your, I think, 12, 8, 4, and 1. Something like that. Off the top of my head, I can't exactly remember the numbers, but let's just say those. And that creates your custom RPE chart. An RPE chart is basically how many reps on average can you do at a certain percentage. A custom RPE chart, that's how all these estimated, so how all estimated maxes are calculated are based off of people's average ability to perform a certain percentage a certain amount of times. However, some people I have found a lot can be better at reps on a bench, worse on a deadlift, and average on a squat. Let's just hypothetically speaking. That isn't usually true. Most people are usually better at bench reps and usually really good at deadlift reps. Not always at all, because everyone is kind of different. So what that does is help predict your sessions better. If you're someone that's really good at reps, it's going to look vastly different for someone that's really bad at reps. Your sets of 8, if you're really good at reps, are going to be at a higher percentage than, say, someone that's really bad at reps. Someone that's usually better at reps are often females, often different fiber types, and often smaller athletes. Guys that are usually a bit bigger often are worse at reps. So their custom RPE charts will be different. And the custom RPE chart creates your predicted numbers for this session, which you'll find in the estimate column, and it will also, on the dashboard, predict your maxes, which will help us load the right weight on the bar. So, let's say, go back to that session where you've done 110 for 5 at a 7.5. You have beaten the estimated session. What I suggest you do in that situation is after the session, when you finished, on your way home, whatever, you put in the dashboard where your max may be. You put in 110 for 5 at 7.5, and that will give you an updated max. Because you've beaten the estimated session, you now need to update that. And by updating it to 110 for 5 at 7.5, what that is saying is you've got stronger. So now it will update all your numbers, so that next week's session, or potentially a session later that week if you do the same exercise again, your numbers are going to be estimated for someone that is stronger. So if you have an off day, you don't need to change that. If it's a one-off, you don't need to change it. You don't say, so say the next session you come in and you only manage 105 for 5 and you feel like an 8, well, is it a one-off or is that actual representation of your strength? If it was a one-off, then I suggest you don't change anything. It was a one-off, it was a bad day. If it was, if you get a couple of those sessions, maybe you do want to lower your max slightly in your dashboard. So you want to constantly look at the dashboard when things start to change. When your estimated sessions are way off, it's because you're not updating your dashboard. The more you update your dashboard with new PBs and new sets, the numbers will be updated and it will push you harder in your next session. So that's that. As well, when it says 1 at an 8, try and be true to that. And depending on which lift they are, sometimes it's just a protocol. It's just an idea. It's not, could you really do 3 more reps? Or 2 more reps, I should say. Well, maybe not, but sometimes it's just to get a heavier weight on the bar. It's just to get things moving. It's just a tool to get you moving a single. And sometimes I say take it back, sometimes I say I'll increase it, and I may know that it might increase it above an 8. However, I might just want to see it, because it's just a tool, like anything else. So, anyway, so fill out your notes as well. Not just for me, but for you. Fill out your notes. Fill out something on the lines of, I got really forward today in my O shoes. Should I try flats? Something like that. You know, warm up today wasn't very good. The notes are very important for you. If you have a diary, if you write that down separately, that's cool. But if you don't do that, maybe that little note section could be good just to write some little notes on the set. Miss groove, touch too low, flared too early. Little things like that, little notations that you can read back over your log, and you can see and draw conclusions from. It's very important. What else is there? So that's that. You've done your goal. The estimator is just a guide. The goal of the session is to follow the protocol. So if it's increasing singles weekly, then follow that protocol. You'll know that if you do that, but that's not what everyone does, by no means. If you're someone doing reps, say 5 5s at a 7, 5 5s at an 8, etc., then your goal is that. The estimated weight is a guide, and if you're feeling stronger, if you're feeling weaker, regulate. But try to put more weight on the bar, because it's very easy to sandbag these things and think, oh well, you know, I feel kind of beat up today. Well, you should probably give it a bit of a go. That's back crash. So by loading a bit of weight on the bar, you might surprise yourself. So a sort of somewhat aggressive, a passive aggressive, a bad relationship. Anyway, you should honestly almost try. If you know it's a bad day warming up, and we all have bad days, that's when you regulate. If you had a stressful week at work, if you feel under the weather, the warm-ups feel like shit, your lower back's really pumped, is that the time to do 1 at an 8 for a PB? No, you regulate. You take the weight back. Otherwise, you could eat shit. So you've got to be smart. You've got to take this upon yourself to really think. You know. So yeah, push it, but also know when to hold back, and that's the key. And that is something that only comes with time. And don't worry about that. But if you're feeling beat up and you know it's not going to be a great day, don't push it. Don't go mad. Hold it back. Hold it back. But on sessions where it's feeling good, push for it. You do more than you estimate if it feels good. Update the dashboard. Next week's session is going to be heavier. Then you do next week's session and you crush that. And then you've got this positive momentum building, that positive feedback loop, which obviously everyone wants to try and get into. But don't beat yourself up on the bad days, because bad days happen. You've had a bad week at work. If it's your first couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks of a new training cycle, if you just peaked and now you're doing volume, it's going to feel like shit. There's times where it's okay to feel shit. There's not all times are the best times, and you can't just be peaked and can't just be the strongest ever all the time. That's totally fine. So know when you're having bad days, realize they are bad days, and realize that is part of the process. Fill out in your subjective questioning, maybe write in the notes. I get loads of crazy notes, but I like the notes. It makes me understand what's going on. And also as well, it can make you understand what's going on when you're looking next week and think, why didn't I do less last week? What was that about? Oh yeah, I went on holiday and so write this stuff down. The notes at the bottom of the sheet have been removed. So some of you will still have them, some of you won't. They've been removed because I don't like it. I would rather people email me, because people email me most of the time anyway. It's better than the spreadsheet, and it's just a better medium for conversation. So if you want to email me every week rather than do your review, that's cool. Down for that. Because it's just a better medium for conversation. And I just feel like I get in your head a bit better if you decide to email me. If you don't decide to email me and I can check your sheet and everything looks good, that's whatever. But I do like knowing what's going on. So if there's no notes on the sheet and you haven't emailed me, I start to worry. You know? Whereas if there's notations on the sheet, then I know you're okay. I know you're alive, I know you're training. So there's that. So they've been removed. At the bottom of the sheet, on again, most of your sheets now, because this is sort of rolling out to any new cycles pretty much, there is some yes/no boxes. So you got to fill your weight out, you got to fill your weight class out, and then you can answer yes or no to the following questions. Again, that's just to show me when I'm wondering why you haven't PB'd, I can see, well, you've not been sleeping, you've not been doing any soft tissue work, you've not been eating properly, you've not been drinking enough water, and so the list continues. And hopefully, it's not just for me. You've got to realise that this is for you. When you see trends, positive trends, when they're all yes for 3 weeks in a row, I do really well. So when I'm sleeping, eating, recovering, I do better. Like light bulb moment. So it's not just for me. This stuff is for you to make a conscious decision on your protein intake, on your sleep, to have these thoughts. So there's that. So that kind of pretty much sums it up. Just update your dashboard when you need to. If you're unsure of what to do in any situation, email me. If in doubt, regulate. If you're unsure whether you could do the weight, you can always find out on the warm-up. If it's 5 5s at an 8 and you're not sure about the estimated weight, we'll start a little bit lighter and you can put it down 5 at a 7. If it's over 1 RPE away from it, don't count it. If it's 5 at 6, don't bother. That's a warm-up set. If it's 5 at 7, put 5 at a 7. And then the next set you can go up. Maybe that's 5 at 7.5. And the next set. Because it's a skill. And over time you'll hone in and get better and better at this skill. But it is a skill. And you start out, you're not as good as it. And that's how that works. But if you constantly monitor it and regulate, you'll get better. And it's a post-lift thing. You do it and say, how many reps more can I do at that? Maybe you watch it back on video. Videoing is really important. Video your training. Watch it back. There you go. There's a big tip. Video your training, watch it back. Video all the time, all of your top sets. Week to week, look at it. Analyze it. What's going wrong? What's going right? Do you even know what you look like when you lift? I've been videoing myself for the last 7 years in the gym. 8 years in the gym. I have like 15 to 1600 videos or more now on YouTube that are mostly unlisted. And you can go on my YouTube if you want and look at me in Nuffield Health about in 2007 or 8, I can't remember. You won't recognise me. But I've been filming for that long and analysing and trying to make change. So, if you don't do that, that's a big one too. If you're going to film and send to me, try and film it from the side. Try and film it from the front or the back. But go from the side first. And then if I ask for other angles, that is what it is. But I want to see your depth on squat. I want to see your back position on deadlifts. And from bench, I want to look at your bar path. So pretty much from the side is always a winner. And then from there, I might ask to see other angles to see what's going on. See your foot positioning, to see see your knee tracking, to see your wrist position, your arm position, your elbow position on bench, and knee position on deadlift as well. So from the side's the best shout to start with. Anyway, film your training if you already don't. Regulate. Look at the protocol. Don't look at the estimated numbers. The estimated numbers are good. If they're off, change the dashboard. If they are off from your session, alarm bells. Change the dashboard. But film your sessions, regulate, and push. Don't sandbag training. Try. Know when it's a bad day